Hello, y'alls. Hello. Now, hello, y'alls. All right, now, hello, y'alls. How's it going, y'alls? I just downed the biggest pizza from Zalat. Let me read the description on this pizza. One of the best pizzas I've ever had. It's called the Sweet Revenge, and it had bacon onion jam with infinity swirls of house-made hot honey, mozzarella, salami, crushed red pepper, fresh basil, and a little bit of extra basil on the side. And then it says this is likely the best pizza you've ever had in your life. Might be true. Might be true. Yeah. Is that lots of best pizza? Absolutely true. Absolutely true. You could fact check that, actually. How much was it? It was $28, and I paid to get it all the way to my door. It was like 40. So I tipped $9. I tipped $9. All right. Uber drivers gotta live life too. Welcome back. Thank you, lovely Lainey. Thank you. Hello, guys. I'm gonna turn off the AC in just a minute. I'm gonna let it go for just a little bit longer. Yeah, tipping's a thing here. Is it not? Is it not a thing in Australia? Aren't you in Australia? You guys can't hear the AC? It just makes my microphone kind of rattle a little bit. It's not a thing in Australia? Dang, dude. Australia sounds more and more sick every day. They sound way awesome every day. Your minimum wage is a lot higher. Yeah. Most countries pay a living wage, so they don't rely on tips. Isn't I think the tip culture here, it was tied to, of course, it was tied to like segregation and racism. I'm pretty sure is where it all comes from. I'm pretty sure that's where it comes from. Guys, I'm 600 followers away from hitting 20K on my alt account. I dare you guys to go follow my alt account.
I just want to say,
what's up?
Have you ever had pickle pizza? I haven't. People looked at me like, looked at me crazy for tipping 20% in Italy. Bring the alt account back up. It's in my link in my bio. This is my alt account. It's Dark Pickles. Awesome. Thank you, Zara. How we doing, guys? Sunday night. You guys ready You guys ready to? You guys ready to rage? Someone on YouTube says, "Did you find a job yet? Am I living on my mom's expense?" Guys, if anybody could help me find a job or become a subscriber, either one. That would be so helpful. Thank you guys. Basement dweller. It's true. I literally live in a basement. Sue me.
Pickles!
What's up, bro?
What's good?
Not much, just being awesome as fuck, living in a basement.
Dope. Are we stoned?
No, I'm sober, bro.
Good. How long you been sober?
About a year and a half.
Are you dead serious?
Yeah.
Wow, good job.
Thank you.
I'm still a Trump supporter though, Pickles.
It's a damn shame.
I know, but it's okay. I mean, I don't really regret my vote at all, but you know, I don't hate you for being a Kamala supporter at all, even though she couldn't, you know, she could not run this country at all.
Okay.
So why do you hate on Trump, Pickles? Because he literally, he's doing everything he said he'd do.
I don't like a lot of the things he said he was doing, but he's also a big fat liar, and he's doing some horrible stuff with tariffs. And he said he wasn't for Project 2025, and he's doing that too.
I think Agenda 47 was pretty close to Project 25.
So did he mislead people to vote for him? Damn, he got kicked for substance stuff. He got kicked. Wow. Yo, what up, Jeremy? Yeah, he said some stuff. Some stuff about substances. It's sad that people can endorse somebody still to this day that was like, I don't even know what that is. And it turns out he's carrying through like all of the Project 2025 stuff. If our site did that, you guys would be setting the place on fire. Yellow? Jacqueline, thank you for the $25 for putting up with the craziness. W. Jacqueline's. Thank you. Hello?
Hello.
What's up? Are you a Trump supporter?
Of course.
Okay, what do you like about Trump?
Well, he's been keeping his promises so far. You know, he's doing what he promised, what we voted for him to do.
What are those promises?
Well, securing the border and
lowering grocery prices
and auditing the swamp.
Lowering grocery prices day one.
Well, he didn't say day one, but he's working on it. Yeah.
He definitely said day one.
Biden did sign into law the Inflation Reduction Act, but it actually caused inflation, because when you put an incurred cost, when you start making it more expensive for these companies to produce the energy to produce their products, then that cost gets passed down to us.
Can you tell me
how does taxation reduce inflation?
Oh, you're talking about the increase of 15% on minimum taxes for companies that make over 400K?
I'm talking about him taxing the coal, gas, and oil industries, trying to tax them out of business.
Can you
How does taxation reduce inflation?
Well, first of all, every month since the Inflation Reduction Act passed, it reduced inflation all the way from 9% to 3%.
Why does eggs cost over $5 a dozen then, if that was the case?
The avian flu.
Avian flu?
Yeah.
Could it be that the farmers and stuff are having to pay more for fuel and energy to produce their products is the reason why? Could
No.
that be the reason why?
No, they had to kill like 250 million chickens. You know what culling is?
I reckon I do. I live out in the country. I reckon I do.
So you understand why people had to unalive all of their chickens?
For no reason. There
No,
was
because of
avian flu,
USDA guidelines says you have to do it.
which is a privately owned entity.
USDA,
The USDA is a privately owned entity.
the Department of Agriculture.
All of them are, except for the Department of Parks and Recreations, are privately owned entities.
And what does that change? How does that change your debate?
What do you mean? How does that change my debate?
These are privately owned industries. Who are you? Why are you mad at Biden?
Why am I mad at Biden? I'm not mad at Biden. He's gone.
How did Biden make egg prices go up when the USDA?
Because in order to produce the energy, to produce the products, they had to pay more because it was the energy costs went out the roof.
The reason that gas prices skyrocketed was because of Trump.
No, not during Biden's years. No, it
Absolutely
was the Inflation
during
Reduction Act.
Biden years.
When you're taxing the profits that these companies make, how are they going to recoup their losses?
I don't think that taxes.
How are they going to recoup their losses? Don't
Hey,
monologue.
Grandpa, chill.
Well, answer my question, dude.
Taxing
You're
did not cause
dodging the
prices.
question.
Taxing didn't cause prices to go up. Trump's tariffs are literally making consumer prices go up directly.
But now, which of those products are you being forced to buy?
Okay, which of those eggs are you being forced to buy?
Answer my question, dude.
Which are you being forced to buy eggs?
No, I'm not forced to buy eggs.
Okay, then stop crying about it.
I'm not crying about it. But what products are you being forced to buy that Trump is putting the tariffs on?
Oil.
Oil. We produce it right here, dude.
All right. How much oil do we produce as a country, and how much do we use every year?
Well, that I couldn't tell you, but I do know from my own personal experience.
Grandpa.
Because I've worked at the refineries and I've worked at the tank farms.
Grandpa, I'm gonna end. Grandpa, as a country, we use about 20 million barrels per day, and we only produce 13.4.
That's a lie.
Okay, where do you get your information?
Dude, I've worked at the tank farms and the refineries. That's a lie.
And then what are the correct numbers?
I've worked in about every tank farm and refinery in this country.
Okay, then tell me the correct numbers.
The correct numbers, to be specific, I do not know.
Then why are you telling me I'm saying lies?
Because they are pumping into these tanks left and right from domestic product. The product that's made right here in the United States.
Okay, I'm so sorry this is happening to you, but you're wrong.
Dude, I'm seeing it with my own eyes.
Because you're standing around, you're standing around an oil tanker.
Down on a piece of paper.
You're sitting around and with your hands on your hip, looking at an oil tanker, and you know the whole entire United States like domestic energy policy.
I've been all over this country, dude, working in refineries and tank farms.
Okay,
so don't tell me that.
I breathe oxygen.
If that was the case, why am I able to get all the overtime that I can get?
I don't know. I breathe oxygen, but it doesn't make me an astronaut.
Because they're pumping, dude.
Okay, we pumped more every year during Biden's years than Trump did. If we stopped last year,
he had 9,000 permits sitting on his desk that he refused to sign because they were GOP donors.
Okay, Bub, let me help you out. Where do you check? Do you know where you check? Where on the internet do we find the numbers of how much U.S. production of oil?
I don't know, dude. I just go by personal observation.
Okay, then what do your toothless friends tell you?
I don't go by a bought and paid for minion. Okay.
Okay.
I go by personal experiences from what I see and what I.
And you still don't know? You can't tell me one metric?
One metric as far as what?
As far as how much we produce as a country?
It's millions.
So you have no idea what you're talking about? You're just going to tell me I'm wrong?
Not specific, no.
So how would you know I'm wrong?
How would I know you're wrong? Because I've worked at the tank farms and I've worked at the refineries. I've seen them in operations. Okay,
that doesn't mean anything. I put on shoes every day.
To the leftists, it don't. You would
No.
rather take your advice and stuff from just rhetoric.
No,
Instead of
I'm looking
somebody
at data.
that's instead of somebody that's actually got boots on the ground.
You're
would
not giving
rather
me any
take your
information.
knowledge, or what you call knowledge, from somebody that sits in an air-conditioned room being told to tell what
Grandpa,
he's being told to tell.
I'm so sorry this is happening to you, but you're wrong. And we're going to put you in a nursing home if you keep talking to me like that.
Well, if you're man enough to put me in a nursing home, then where do you think the very first oil strike in the United States was? If you had to guess, where do you think it was?
I don't think that makes any sense, or it doesn't matter
Well,
what.
it's going to make sense if you would just answer my question.
All right, Peepaw, I'm going to show you something real quick, okay?
Where was the very first oil strike in the United States?
Bub, this is my channel. I'm in charge here, okay?
I'm not even looking at that, okay?
You don't want to look at information?
U.S. Department of Energy, okay? Yes, a left-leaning bureaucracy.
Okay, first of all, you just named the wrong department.
Yeah,
It's
I'm
the
dumb
wrong
enough to
department.
take that, just like you are.
It's not even the department I'm looking at. This is the Energy Information Administration.
Which is a left-leaning.
Why do you think this is a
This is
a dot?
Of Energy.
This is a
left-leaning
.gov.
faction of the Department of Energy.
This is a
and
dot.
You know
This is a
that,
.gov. What are you talking
which
about?
is a left-leaning.
Can you show me?
bureaucracy
Can you show
of
me
the
how to
Department
figure
of
out
Energy, and
where
you
did?
know that?
No, they're not. Who says they're left leaning? Who in the fuck says that?
I do.
You're just making things up because
Now,
you know
where
you're about
was
to be
the very
proven
first
wrong.
Oil strike in the United States. Where
Did you know
it
that?
happen?
Did you know that Trump has reduced the amount of oil since Biden that we're drilling? Did you know that?
Can you prove that without some kind of .gov?
Okay, I definitely can't just tell you because my friend.
Show me some video proof of him saying that.
What?
Show me some video proof of Donald Trump saying such.
Your fucking only source of information is Donald Trump?
No, my only source of information is for you to produce video proof of Donald Trump saying that.
Why? I don't believe anything Donald Trump says. Why would I want that?
Okay, then. Well, if he did such, then he would say so. So pull it up.
Okay, I'm gonna just show you.
Where was the very first oil strike here in the United States?
All right, people, I'm gonna mute you again. This is when Joe Biden left office, January 2025. We are doing 13.4.
9,000 permits sitting on his desk.
Peepaw, 13.4 million barrels a day. 13.3, back up to 13.4. Now we're at 13.1. It looks like we're down from where Joe Biden, where Daddy Biden left us. That's insane.
Okay.
That's insane.
Well, obviously, you didn't hear Mr. Trump tell the oil companies here in the United States that if they didn't come down on their prices, that he was going to go find oil somewhere else. You didn't hear about that part, did you?
Well, so he's not for drill baby drill anymore?
Well, you know, gas prices are going down where I'm at.
Okay.
It went down 65 cents over the week.
Okay. Did you know that Trump is responsible for the gas prices surging in 2021 and 2022?
I don't see how when Biden was the man in charge.
I'm going to tell you how.
How?
Have you ever heard of the Trump 2020 OPEC Plus deal?
No, I haven't.
Well, you might want to enter that into the Google machines on your side and look up that Trump told Saudi Arabia to reduce their oil production by 9.7 million barrels per day. And I just showed you.
Why was Joe Biden trying to tax them out of existence?
Okay, I want you to let me finish.
Tax, dude.
Peepaw.
Almost 45% tax that he was
Peepaw.
taxing the gas and oil companies.
Peepaw, I want to show you.
I tell you what you can do, okay? Please do this for me, all right? Kiss Peepaw's ass.
Peepaw. He had to go get his diaper changed. Peepaw, if you're still listening, this is when Trump made that deal. Right here. In 2020. And then they skyrocketed right here. And this is the day that gas started falling, the day that Trump's OPEC 2020 deal stopped. And just because you do manual labor does not mean you're an expert on oil and gas. I'm so sorry. I tell you what. I tell you what, man. I'm going to learn you something today. Let's see what average gas prices have done in the last few weeks. Have gas prices changed in the last 3 months? So it's down 10 cents, or in Texas they are. Nationally, current average is 3.18, down from 3.25. So 7 cents. Big whoop. If your name's Peepaw, I'm gonna learn you something. Mine is up still since you took office, yeah. Gas is up to 309 here. Summer blend. So summer blend actually makes the gas kind of go up. It's a more expensive process. It's a higher mix, a more concentrated mix. I believe it's the winter blend that's cheaper to make. My name's Peepaw Bacon. What's up, Bacon Gaming? I paid $3.84 at Costco in Spokane Valley, Washington today. Tariffs on, tariffs off. Great negotiator, my ass. Yeah, I know. Dude, when an old man comes in here and thinks he can infantilize me like his dad did him, I got news for you. I'm good. I apologize for Josh Hawley. Josh Hawley sucks, dude. He was just going to learn you. If your gas is over $3, it's because your state is taxing it. Chat, tap the screen. We're almost at 20K. Let's get some more people in here. Let's get some Trump supporters in here. Also, my subscriber goal is at 576 out of 598. I dare you guys to subscribe so you can use the awesome stickers. We're going to be doing subscriber only chat during the last hour of this live, which is going to be in about like 2.5 hours, 3 hours. Crude oil has plummeted too. If it isn't fixed, prices will rise quickly in a few months. Yeah. If Trump does tariffs on Canada, we're fucking cooked. Oh yeah. Did Biden raise gas tax? The federal gas tax has remained unchanged since 1993. What was fucking Grandpa talking about? Oh, the Inflation Reduction Act. The methane fee started at $900 per metric ton of methane released above the government's threshold. 1,200. So it went from 900 to 1,200. And 1,500 per metric ton based on 2026 emissions. And it only goes for companies that do 25,000 metric tons and over, which will result $560 million in fines this year. So they paid $560 million in fines. It would have increased it, I don't know, by 30%. But it didn't even take effect. It wasn't even supposed to go into effect until late last year. So Grandpa was wrong. It didn't increase gas prices. Iridium, thank you for the 5 gifted. Thank you so much. With the 12-month subscription as well. Sheesh. Thank you so much. Mr. Global said all companies are pausing drilling. Tans with the auto renew. Thanks, Bub. Guys, if you want to debate, be sure to hop in the box. Come tell me why you like Trump. Thank you guys so much for all the gifts. You guys are too kind. Thank you. Doesn't the barrel need to be like $74? Something like that. Like between $70 and $80 for people to pull a profit. Yeah, there are people who actually like Trump. If you guys want to see them, there are real people over on YouTube that like Trump. Yeah, it's wild. My wife makes me pay a gas tax. Can we talk about something bipartisan? I wish. I don't know what's bipartisan these days. We just had Republicans reverse a law that stopped banks from being able to gouge us with overdraft fees. Who does that literally? Who does that help? What are y'all smoking, dude? I think they raised them to $100. Trump is the GOAT. Oh my god. Guys, if you're a Trump supporter, say MAGA in the chat. I'll bring you up. Proletariat, you're not MAGA. Guys, if you're on YouTube, you're gonna have to come to TikTok to debate. No RFK Maha, please, dude. Oh my god. Does anybody have the scoop on what Trump's plans are with the electronics tariffs for China? Ugh. Removing that paywall, baby. When was this written? Yesterday? Electronics exemption apply to all countries. I feel like it's the only thing that would have made any sense is to tariff the semiconductors and stuff. Maybe just the ones that we're producing. This is fucking stupid, though. He said 20 product types were exempt on Friday, account for nearly a quarter of the U.S. imports from China, other countries. So, like, did he lose the tariff war? Did he lose the trade war? He said it's only temporary? What for? What is he doing? Who gave Trump the tariff lever, dude? Plans to separate tariff. Could soon see additional levies. Random but Burt's Bees is made in India. That's interesting. I'm gonna have to get past this paywall manually. If I just do this. Oh, they've got anti-paywall stuff. I think if you disable the Flash or the JavaScript, it won't load the page. Use archive.ph. There we go. Okay, so I guess they're going to do very specific items. Okay, so there's not going to be any exceptions. They're just going to be a different bucket. What a disaster, guys. We don't even know what we're doing. It changes day by day. can't believe that last guest was trying to tell me that the EIA was a left-leaning source. And now someone in chat says a Wall Street Journal is. This isn't even like an opinion. This is just saying what he did. Am I still taking? Yeah, I'm taking debates, guys. If you guys want to debate, hop in the box. Yeah, Trump has gone on 7 golf trips since he started. He's only been in office for 85 days. That's fucking wild. Someone saying that Kamala wants little kids to be able to mutilate themselves at the ripe age of 5. Have you guys heard of circumcision? How many of you weird religious people are making your kids get that? Isn't that mutilating that stuff down there? Why do you guys do that? It's kind of weird, isn't it? You guys been doing it since the Dark Ages? That's kind of weird. Kind of helps to keep it clean. Oh, well, I mean, wouldn't like cutting off your ears help you to keep your ears clean too? You guys can't wash things that are... You just kind of... It's pretty easy. I wouldn't go that far. I wouldn't go that far, Siberia. Maybe when people are bathing in rivers. Yeah. Yeah. I guess we're going to have to wait till tomorrow to get any more news on this tariff stuff. Can't wait for a bidet. Dude, W, Jason. W. Oh. Susie Q, thank you for the sub for 12 months. How are you guys subscribed? Everybody today is subscribed for 12 whole months. Thank you so fucking much. Flip a coin on tariffs for way better odds, yeah. Can I bring up the... Yeah, I could do that. Johnny's live. So wait, nobody's debating me. Everybody's debating Johnny. Guys, this is my alt account. If you guys want to give me a follow, I'm only 600 followers away from 20K on that account. Guys, if you want to debate, hop in the box. There's now a request box. And if you guys can, let's get to like 50K. You guys want to do movie night? We could do movie night. Love it, Jason. Hello? 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 Yellow?
Hello, is it me?
Hey, it's you. What, are you a Trump supporter?
I am IT. I'm independent from I to T.
Did you vote for Trump?
I did not choose. I like offered selection.
So you're not.
It's kind of dark, you know. It's kind of repetitive. I'm young, so you know I have my own ways to look at the world still, and I want people to know that, you know, what the decision is, how we reflect, how we aggress each other, you know, all of that needs to be intaken, even at a place of fear and, you know, rotation.
You know you're not actually supposed to drink the bong water, right?
It only hurts a little bit.
Okay.
For a little while.
Appreciate you. What's up, bro?
Hey, man. I want to apologize to you. How about that? I'm serious.
It's all good.
No, we had a pretty, on my part, it was kind of a stupid conversation because of me. I didn't know TikTok etiquette, and you were a lot more respectful than I gave you credit for looking back at it.
I don't remember if you wronged me, so don't worry about it.
I definitely did. I like I said, I never really did TikTok before, and I started getting. I spent hours because I was like, man, what did I know what I said because we got into an argument, but I started going on all these other panels, and the way that all these other people like treated Trump supporters versus the way you did, it was night and day.
Appreciate it.
Night and day. So, I want to. I mean, if you want, I'd like to come at it at a different angle, and if it's not on topic, that's fine. I watched a video about the protest at the DNC. I'm on the side of the DNC for this. Have you seen something about, you know how they talk about paid protesters and whatnot, right?
Yeah.
I think it was called, okay, what's that thing called when you, I got to go to my Google search and get the website. You mind if I do that real quick?
Go ahead.
Yeah. Okay. Crowdsondemand.com. Have you ever heard of this?
I'm gonna look at it right now.
Okay. So I found, while you're doing that, I found a CNN article, came out in 2015, and it uses the CEO or the owner, his name, I think it was Stewart something or something Stewart, talked about how, you know, celebrities, activists, protests, all that stuff, people will pay to bring up crowds. And so the fact that CNN talked about it, because I heard about it first through a YouTube video and then found the CNN article, and then you can get quotes. These quotes start at $20,000 going up to $1 million plus.
Uh-huh.
And even if I'm a Trump supporter, right, I still don't want something like that happening to the DNC and to you guys. if that's the case. You know what I mean?
How do we
So
know which protests are paid, which protesters are paid, which are not? Have we proven it that any of these protests have been paid for?
Well, to get real proof, I would say no, because I guess, to be honest, real proof would be like, I guess you would have to have some kind of documentation, right?
Yeah.
I think that would be the only way. The only connection they were making were with specific people that they would find doing the same act on one side of the country. I forget if it was like Florida, and then going up to Chicago and doing the same thing up there, with specific, a megaphone, the same chants, the same this, the same that, but then leading, kind of like feeling more like a leader in the protest, not just like somebody like that's off to the side. So I saw a couple things like that when this guy was covering the DNC and the Palestine. Am I allowed to say that? I don't know what I'm allowed to say on TikTok.
You're fine.
but that specific protest that was happening at the DNC, and he was there talking about how this person was over here, this person was from Brooklyn, New York, and now he's over in Chicago. I believe it was Chicago. Yeah, Chicago doing this over here. He got arrested. There were specific people in green hats. He goes, we'll get to that towards the end of the video. At the end of the video, he's explaining, and he shows close-ups. The people in the neon green hats have like notebooks, and they're taking notes and getting birth dates, times, and everything of the people that end up getting arrested, so then they can go and bail them out. And it's I honestly I didn't want to talk about it, not with just you, but it wasn't until I saw the CNN article that I was like, okay, so I thought, there's a chance this could be like some MAGA, like hardcore MAGA, like I support Trump, but I'm not MAGA, I don't own the hat, I'm not like the cultist kind. So I said maybe a conservative or some, I don't know, QAnon could have like made the website or something like that. And then when I saw that, I was like, wait a minute, that's just CNN's talking about this in 2015. That's kind of crazy.
Yeah, I think it's gross that people so loosely say this. Like Mike Johnson said that paid protesters were showing up to these town halls that had a lot of grievances with the Republicans' actions. And I think that's so disingenuous to not have looked into it, to just loosely say that so that they could dismiss all of the disdain for the actions being taken by the president or this administration. I think that's disgusting. I think to say, like, were they pro-Palestine protests at the DNC, things that were trying to disrupt the DNC?
They were, yeah.
So I don't know why the DNC, like why Democrats would do that to themselves. Maybe Republicans did that to them. I don't see how that
that's
makes
a
sense.
Possibility, yeah.
Even if that is a thing, or
send you yeah.
I mean, or they were just legitimate protests. Like, people are truly upset that their people have just about been wiped off the face of the earth in Gaza. I think that's something to be genuinely upset about.
Yeah, no, I agree. It just videos can be very persuasive, right? So I go, all right, well, I got to look into this. And like I said, I looked into it, and then I saw that article from CNN talking about this, and I was like, okay, if this was Fox, I'd be like, whatever. But coming from that source, I was like, okay. Well, I think it was either CNN or CNN Business. I don't really know that there's a difference, but yeah. So,
and I also just read something interesting. Neon green, people who have green hats, green vests, these are called legal observers. They're often seen at protests, or they're trained volunteers who act as independent witnesses to document police behavior and ensure protesters' rights are protected. They're part of organizations like National Lawyers Guild, the Green and Black Cross, and the American Civil Liberties Union, the ACLU. And their presence aims to deter police misconduct and provide legal support to those who may be arrested. So that's probably why they're taking people's names.
No, that makes sense. I mean, I guess, protests have to be organized to a point too.
Yeah.
I guess really the only thing I was going to say too was I think someone needs to get in Trump's ear, because he's there for 4 years, regardless of what you and I think, right? Unless, something happens, he gets impeached and removed. Student loan forgiveness. Believe it or not, I'm middle, even though, like I said, I voted for Trump, but I had a change of heart about student loans probably sometime during the middle of Obama's second term, when I joined a student loan forgiveness group that was organized with about 30,000+ people. And you start hearing people's stories. I had a different perspective, which was work hard, you'll get that job, you'll pay that off, it was your responsibility, all that stuff. And I wasn't finding anything. I was living in Connecticut at the time, and I couldn't find any work. And then I start hearing about, health issues from people. They couldn't finish their degrees, can't go back to school because of X, Y, and Z. And just all these people have this debt that they never got the jobs they were promised to get to be able to pay those things back. And it happened to me too. And if you don't mind, I'll tell you real quick what my school, maybe this will jog your memory. I'm down in Corpus. I went to Texas A&M Corpus Christi. And I got a degree in speech communication and public relations. And you could say this was naive of me, but when I went and switched my major to this degree plan, on the school's website, it said, here are all the jobs you're going to be qualified to do. It must have listed about 60, 70, 80 different fields, like paralegal, you'd be a paralegal. I remember, I'll never forget this, my friend goes, Ralph, I don't even have my degree yet. What am I? I said, you're a paralegal. She goes, exactly. Of course, this is at the end, right? Now, I couldn't find a job with my degree. When people saw my degree, they go, you got a degree in what? Oh, public relations. Well, I don't know what that is. Nobody cared. So if I could, and I'll just end it on this note, if I could ever say one thing to Trump about this, I think it needs to be looked into. And I'd like to see some kind of university reform. Maybe the taxpayers don't pay for it. I don't know how. Maybe the universities pay for it. But the universities, I think... Oh, go ahead.
Do you know why college is so expensive today?
No, not really. I haven't really thought... Honestly, I haven't thought about why. I usually think it's because they just want to raise the rates to get new buildings, new funding. I've seen A&M Corpus grow over the last 10, 15 years. And I just figure that's where all my money is going. Pay for these new buildings and all this other stuff.
All right, it was Ronald Reagan. Ronald Reagan did not like to see people of color going to college. The right's favorite president. During Reagan's campaign of governorship in 1966, he publicly criticized the University of California. He referred to these student protesters as brats, freaks, and cowardly fascists in an interview, and he basically said we have to be selective on who we allow to go through higher education. This belief has shaped higher education to become a privilege of the upper class, with tuition serving as a barrier to those from working class backgrounds. When he became the governor of California, tuition was free for California residents. Reagan viewed the University of California system as disruptive and distasteful. With the intent to change the system, he revealed an FBI memo. Quickly after being reelected as governor, Reagan began cutting state funding of public universities by 20%. His justification was that colleges have become too liberal and taxpayers should not subsidize intellectual curiosity. And just like Trump is doing today, cutting the federal government, and some of these states have reduction in 10 to 20% in federal income. People are able to take their money and take basically a voucher, like $8,000 per head here in Texas, and go to a charter school and pay the rest of the remainder of what the tuition would be. And that mostly affects certain demographics of people, and you can probably guess which ones.
Right. Right.
So that's why school is expensive today. Ronald Reagan. There's other countries who have college tuition entirely paid for in full. And I think that we should eventually get there, and it, like, reducing people's college loans like Biden did is very nice to do. In fact, in the even more so in the event we have like a recession from a pandemic, if people are struggling to make ends meet because work is scarce or income is scarce, and you can reduce your college loan fees by, $200, $300 a month, that's money that's like putting food on the table. That's making the economy churn more, because when money goes back to the federal government for college tuition, it doesn't really make the economy move at all.
Yeah. I think one of the good things that Obama did was the IBR. But what he did with that was also include having no interest on your student loans. Trump got rid of that. I don't think he realized what he did. Either somebody told him to do that, or that was of his own devices. I don't know. Would you agree to that universities have gotten, not just universities, but even community colleges, they've gotten so out of hand. They've become money making systems. That's all they really are. At least that's how I feel they are. They do provide value, right, in their education for the, for STEM, for people that you want to be a lawyer. Well, you got a path, right? But then there's all these obscure degrees that they make all these promises to have, or you could do this, you could do that with it, and then it turns out not necessarily. So I guess maybe I look at it like a trade school. You have like kind of a certain path, and do you find some of those degrees either one need to be eliminated, that way when you go to school there's a desired outcome, or two, they're universal? So let's say you go to school, let's say I go to A&M Corpus, College Station, UT Austin, and you want a degree in whatever that degree is. It's the same degree in every single school. And then the school, what separates them is their quality of their education from one school to the next. That way, if you transfer, you don't have some counselor or some admissions person saying, well, we're going to need you to take this over and that over and this over, and then that course is only offered this time and you missed it for this time. So then your bill just starts adding up.
I don't know. I think that we should also, we should realize that hating on the arts and being anti-intellectualist is not as productive as maybe just subsidizing these weird and kooky degrees that you may not see value in. But there's the markets have changed so much just in the last 10 years. Even in the last 5 years, people like me are doing things like this that, back, 5 years ago, having a dance degree was completely worthless. And now you can make hundreds of thousands of dollars on TikTok. We really don't know what the markets are going to do. We also, we can't start rating, what we think certain degrees are worth arbitrarily. Who is going to do that? I think that's horrible, especially if you ask the right. College is quote unquote liberal indoctrination, and when really I think that somebody who comes out the other end of college just has a higher degree of critical thinking or self-awareness or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think, well, when I say worthless, maybe I should take a step back and say most people, not all, but most people, when they go to school, it's to get that really good job, right? And if that degree is not going to guarantee to put you, because I was sold that in high school. I was sold a lot of weird things in high school that said, oh, if you don't get this done, you don't get that done, you're going to be a failure. If you don't go to college, you're not going to make a lot of money. And then here most of us are, in other words, there's, just like you said, there's alternatives. Like, you don't have to go to college to be successful, but it was indoctrinated in high school to say, if you don't go to college, most likely you're going to end up working fast food or a convenience store the rest of your life. That was the picture that they always painted for us.
Yeah. I don't know. I think it's a blame game that can keep going and going, but I think that we've seen the outcomes of countries that literally just pay for all college tuition, and their outcomes are much better. Their markets are much better. The social and economic mobility is much faster, much better for all of their citizens. And for us to start talking about defunding or stop crediting certain colleges because we may not agree with what they're teaching, I think is silly. We're the richest country on earth, and for us to have not even gotten this far is crazy to me.
I would agree with that. Yeah. Something needs to be implemented, overhauled, or something to some degree. I just don't know what it is completely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
All right.
Enjoyed the talk, man.
Yeah, I mean, you too. I appreciate you. You're welcome back anytime.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it. Y'all have a good day.
You too.
All right, bye.
Free access to education, higher education. Like, everybody else has got this figured out. How come we haven't done it yet? I mean, maybe half of what he's saying is true. Maybe colleges prefer to get that extra cush money from rich kids' parents. I don't know. I also don't like that the federal government, like Trump, is able to use college funding as a tool to force them to do or say something he wants them to do. I think that's disgusting. I think we should take the right away from like a single president or individual in our government from being able to do that. I think it's heinous as fuck. What if Joe Biden did the same thing but opposite? He pulled funding from colleges to force, I don't know, CRT. What if he forced all colleges to teach CRT? Like, imagine the right's nightmare version of what we're seeing. You guys would go fucking crazy. Nobody wants to pay for kids to go to school just to be brainwashed. That's not true. People send their kids to private school and Christian school all the time. Why did all Republican lawmakers go to college if it's just liberal indoctrination? Oh, geez. That's a good one. Almost every day, a parent sends their child to Christian school to be brainwashed. It's true. They come out hateful, bigoted, and disbelieving in certain versions of science. On the other side, when they come out the other side, they are completely brainwashed, or they hate and know better. My little brother went through Catholic school, K through 12. He has tattoos all the way up to his chin. Didn't do much.
All right, I'm done.
Hello?
Yo, hello.
What's up? Are you a Trump supporter?
Yes, I am.
What do you like about Trump?
I mean, we can start about tariffs. I like his take on tariffs.
You like his take on tariffs? Do we even know what that
Yes.
is yet?
Yes, I know what a tariff is. It's a tax on imported goods.
No, does he even know what his take is?
Well, yeah, sure. Tariff all the countries that have unfair tariffs against America. That's Donald Trump's take.
Okay, but what about countries who have way less tariffs than he's imposing on them?
What does that mean? Way less? You're talking about percentage?
Yeah.
Yeah, then I would disagree with that. But I think that it's fair to tariff countries who are tariffing the U.S. when the U.S. doesn't have any tariffs against those countries. Would you say it's not?
I don't think any of those countries have the same tariffs that we put up. Not even close.
That's not true at all.
Do you know how he calculated our tariffs against them?
Yeah, sure. Tell me how.
I think he used our trade deficit, which is completely incoherent.
That's not true. He used the trade deficit for nations that had a zero tariff deal, and he said, okay, since there's no tariffs being imposed by this nation, and the U.S. has no tariffs imposed on these nations, since there's a trade deficit, we're going to implement a tariff. And I disagree with that, because a trade deficit isn't necessarily a bad thing. It just means that you're buying more than the other country is selling to you. But in the case scenario of China, where they had escalated tariffs on the U.S., and the U.S. didn't have tariffs on China, it's fair for the U.S. to reciprocate the tariffs.
What tariffs did China have on us before the trade war?
I'm not sure, but they had tariffs. I can't just recall every single tariff, you know.
Do you think they had blanket tariffs on us?
Can you define a blanket tariff?
A tariff on 100% of all goods.
Obviously not.
Okay, then why is he putting blanket tariffs on them and calling them reciprocal?
Because, okay, so if you look at the graph, China had a 64% tariff on the U.S., and the U.S. implemented a 37% tariff on China. That's not even reciprocal. We tariff less than what we do,
Yeah,
than what we tariffed on.
Okay, 37% tariff on what, though?
I don't recall the goods exactly. Like, I can't just tell you, oh, yeah, it's this, and that, but we had a 37% tariff.
What if it was just on one thing?
Okay, still, but again, we didn't have any tariffs on China, so then why should China have tariffs on the U.S.? Can you explain that logically?
Of course we had tariffs on China.
Okay, what did we have tariffs?
Trump is the one who put them up.
Yeah, I'm saying, but he put them up after the fact that we didn't have any.
I don't think so.
Okay, well, I would disagree with you on that. That's why they're titled reciprocal tariffs.
Yeah, I know, and we've known Trump to be a liar too, right?
Okay, I'm sure every president is a liar. Do you believe everything that every president says?
No, but I don't believe 99% of what Trump says.
Okay, and I don't believe in what Joe Biden. Are you a Joe Biden supporter?
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah. So, did you like when Joe Biden said, "If you don't vote me, you ain't black"?
Do you know why he said that?
Well, why did he say that?
He was on a show called The Breakfast Club, and their tagline is, "If you don't do X, you ain't black." Charlemagne the God's show.
The fact that that's still a racially motivated statement.
He came back and he apologized about it.
It doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't take away from the fact that he still said it.
Okay, but I think it helps.
If I slap you in the face and then I
Was
say,
that it?
"Oh, I apologize," did that still change the fact that I slapped you in the face?
If you honestly apologized about it, I think it would make a difference.
Well, it doesn't change the fact that I already slapped you in the face. And the reason that he said, "Oh, I'm sorry for it," is because he didn't want to lose votes, not because that he was actually sorry.
I think Joe Biden's a decent man, and he was probably actually sorry about it.
I think Joe Biden is a shitbag. I mean, he said, what else did he say? He said, if you're talking about equality, he said something about like a black kid or a Hispanic kid can be just as educated as a white kid, and this is the guy that you're vouching for. I mean, I don't think. Don't get me wrong.
I think he misspoke.
Oh, he misspoke, but
Yeah.
if Trump said that, he wouldn't have misspoke, right?
Trump says he wouldn't let black people count his money, didn't he?
I mean, again, if Donald Trump says something racist, I honestly disagree with that. Just because I prefer Trump as the presidential pick doesn't mean that I condone.
All right,
everything.
then I'm gonna have the same position on Biden, and you can't use anything else against me.
Yeah, but you said that he's a decent man. Like,
He's a very decent
how are you
man.
gonna
Yeah,
say
he is.
somebody's a decent man.
Do you think Trump's a decent man?
No,
Okay.
but you're like, morality has nothing to do with economic policy and take. Trump's morality isn't going to make an impact on my personal life. Trump's economic policy is going to make an impact on my personal life. So why would I care about morality when I should be focused on the things that are actually going to make an impact?
Because I actually, when I think about a president making decisions behind a closed door, I imagine him taking morality into account. So, like,
quite frankly, if you're going to think about morality, both presidential options and candidates had shit morality. So it's just, you're saying, okay, I'm going to go with this one, and then this
Dean,
one is worse than the bad.
Can you do me a favor? Can we? You're like at a 60. Can you put it down to like a 30?
In terms of like projection?
Like it, yeah, like your tone and your
Sure.
yeah. Appreciate it.
Okay, but again, like
Here's
it's kind of like
here's what the first round of tariffs that happened. I believe this is after Trump imposed tariffs on China, by the way. This is what happens. This is China. We had free trade with China, and this is after Trump's first wave of tariffs. It was 25%, and the products that it affected was soybeans, automobiles, beef, seafood, whiskey, and dairy. Does it like 99.9999999% of our trade with China was still free trade? This was just after Trump started picking a fight with him with tariffs.
how are you gonna say that 99% of our trade with China is free trade if you just talk about a 25% tariff? There's a difference.
25% tariff on 6 items?
Okay, sir. Why should we have a 25% tariff on 6 items?
Because Trump started that fight.
How did he start the fight?
He tariffed China.
Yeah, and China had a tariffs on the U.S. sir.
No,
That's
this
not
was their
public.
this was their first round of tariffs. This was in retaliation to Trump's tariffs.
This wasn't okay, sir. Trump tariffed China. The reason that Trump tariffed China is because China already had tariffs on U.S. imported goods.
Did you know?
and the US
Do you know what
are-
tariffs I'm talking about?
Okay, what
I'm
tariffs
talking
are
about the
you-
tariffs he employed in his first administration, man.
Sure, and I'm sure that China had tariffs on the U.S. before Donald Trump's first
No,
administration.
it's not true.
Okay, I'm gonna look it up. And if you're right, you're right. That's good because I could be wrong, but I'm gonna look it up. U.S. Yes, prior to President Donald Trump's first term beginning in 2017, China had imposed tariffs on certain U.S. goods. For instance, in December 2011, China levied tariffs ranging from 2 to 22% on American SUVs and other manufactured goods. So yes, China did have tariffs on U.S. imported goods before Donald Trump's presidency.
All right, I got bad search results. Then can I see more of that? Can I hear more of that? Which
I mean,
goods?
I just asked on ChatGPT, but I can give you the specified source. It's
What
The
did you-
Guardian and AP News.
Why? I am in ChatGPT too, and I got different results.
Here, you want me to? Well, I can. I mean, I'm not going to turn my camera on, but I'll read it to you. So this is what I put. Did China have tariffs on the U.S. before Trump's first term? And then this is what it says. Yes, prior to President Donald Trump's first term beginning in 2017, China had imposed tariffs on certain U.S. goods. For instance, in December 2011, China levied tariffs ranging from 2 to 22% on American SUVs and large cars, citing U.S. government bailouts during the financial crisis as giving American car makers an unfair advantage. That was the response.
China's most favored nation tariff rated around 9.8%. The general tariff policy. This country's tariff quotas and licensing to manage imports. Most U.S. goods enter under normal tariff rates unless there is a dispute or retaliation. So, U.S. chicken broiler products imposed in 2010, still active in
I
2011.
was talking about SUVs. I think that's a little different from U.S. chicken broiler.
Yeah, let me just keep going through the list.
Okay.
In 20, so they had a 1-year tariff on chicken, and then
Yeah, they had a 22% tariff on SUVs as well.
2 to 21% for anti-dumping and countervailing duties for SUVs. So it was imposed in 2011. Claimed U.S. subsidies like GM or Chrysler hurt China's auto industry, so it's protecting their industry.
Again, protect. So you have to harm another industry to protect yours.
Well, so you understand that China was just disincentivizing their own people from buying things from us, right? And again,
Yeah.
that means
again,
that
that harms-
99.9999999% of things that we traded with China was not tariffed.
Okay, hold on. But I would say that you're saying, okay, China is trying to incentivize their people to buy domestically, but that still harms the American economy. Like you saying that doesn't disregard the fact that China imposing tariffs on the U.S. is going to be detrimental to their economy.
Where did he go? Bro just left. I don't know.
Sorry, I disconnected.
So again, I still rest my case. 99.99% of all things we traded with China, minus cars, were not tariffed. And what Trump's doing is blanket tariffs. In no way, shape, or form is this retaliatory. If Trump did, if he tariffed a certain thing that was fickle or had critical like sales rates to like US buying things from them, if we targeted something and fucked over one of their industries, that would be retaliatory. But Trump is doing 100% tariffs, meaning like all things, all little pieces of fucking plastic, all the phone cases, everything.
So can I respond?
Yeah.
So it wasn't just cars that China had tariffs on, it was also numerous agricultural products and goods and industrial goods. But even in the case scenario of, let's say, okay, China had a tariff imposed on a car, I would say that Donald Trump's response to Chinese tariffs on, let's say, cars caused, I would say, not necessarily a trade war, but it caused a series of numerous tariffs to be made against the US and China. And the reason for that being is because China already had a tariff in the first place. It's like a domino effect, right? China takes the first domino, and then it causes a series of other tariffs to be made and implemented.
Okay, but I still don't like you understand all of the United States consumers, we're paying these tariffs. So I think it's so important for us to be very precise with these things because it's disrupting two sides of the industries.
I mean, but we
I
are
don't
being
think
precise.
No, you're saying that these are reciprocal tariffs and that these are all in retaliation to things that China did, but in reality, they literally had like two things tariffed, cars and chicken, as far as I can tell. And then Trump started a trade war with them, which their first jab back at us when they tariffed soybeans, it literally bankrupted multiple farms and put multiple farms out of business. We had to bail them out to like $29 billion. Like, you see how messy this can get?
Do you think, yeah, I understand your point, but do you think that cars and chicken are insignificant to an economy or a market?
I think things that happened all the way back in 2011, yes, it could make our markets dip a little bit, but China's already beating us so hard in the auto industry that it honestly probably doesn't even matter anymore.
Sure, it doesn't matter, but it's not necessarily about the exact finance or the precise financial motivation. It's more so about the premises, right? It's not necessarily about, oh, we want to save the money on cars. It's just more so about the fact that this nation has unfair tariffs on our country when we have no tariffs against them. And then when we try to take preventative action, which we can see dating back to 2016 and Donald Trump's presidency, it becomes a big deal. I mean, I just don't understand.
Trump already put tariffs up against China in his first administration, and we finally started cooling off from reeling from his first trade war. They did 3 rounds of tariffs.
You just said
he started a trade war with China in 2018.
In 2018, okay, but we're talking about, so China had their first tariffs placed against the US in 2011, and Donald Trump made his response in 2016. So if this was the start of a trade war, wasn't it done by China if China had taken the first action of implementing a tariff?
I don't know. I think Trump was tariffing things intentionally trying to hurt China, not things that would actually help us.
Well, no, and to that I disagree, because I think that Donald Trump was just trying to make counter tariffs against China, since they had tariffs against things in the U.S. market that could hurt our economy if they were tariffed. I mean, you talk about chicken and cars like they're insignificant. Chicken and cars are very significant to a market.
Okay. But do you think what we're doing is equal in action to China? Doing 100% blanket tariff?
Again, this is why I say it's a domino effect. I mean, if we're going to talk about now, obviously tariffing all Chinese products and all Chinese goods isn't equivalent to a tariff on chicken and SUVs, right? But what I'm saying is that the first tariff that China implemented causes a proportional and retaliatory tariff made by the U.S., and then it keeps escalating and escalating and escalating until we enter a tariff war. So it's a domino effect. That's the argument that I would rebut with. I
don't know. I think we could come to a trade agreement and talk to China and do things a little more civilly. But Trump wasn't interested in that, I don't think.
Well, I think that's Trump's way of trying to get a trade agreement by implementing the tariffs, because what you have to understand about China is the U.S. is China's biggest consumer, quite frankly. So if China loses the U.S. as its consumer, its economy is going to be heavily devastated. So although in the first 3 weeks, China may be trying to act hard and tough, I can guarantee you that a deal is probably going to be made.
Let me see if we had... Did we tariff China before 2012? We had anti-dumping duties for selling goods below market value to offset unfair trade subsidies from China governments. And so, okay, so we were way busier putting tariffs on China, it turns out. So we tariffed China's steel pipes, tubing, and nails with anti-dumping duties, and we had 10 to 90% duties on Chinese steel pipe imports. And then we had 35% on Chinese cars and light truck tires. This was in 2009, before they tariffed us. Solar panels, 2011, 250%. Aluminum and intrusion, like, dude. So all of this is BS. We started doing it to them first.
Again, you're talking in the point of before 2011.
Yeah.
There have been
So we
tariffs
started
going
this.
on. There have been again, you just searched up have tariffs been implemented before 2011, and then to that I would say I'm going to research right now if China had tariffs prior to that.
Okay, so we have early 2000s. 2009 might be the date you're going to have to beat. Did China have tariffs on United States prior to 2009?
Okay, so China has had tariffs on the US since 1992. So like if we want to go into a date battle with tariffs, you talk about 2009. China has had tariffs on the US market since 1992. Actually a 40% tariff, which is the simple average tariff rate of Chinese tariffs on US goods. So like again, this supports what I'm saying. It's not something that's just happened recently. This has been dated back to 40 years. It's a domino effect, like I've been saying.
But they were standard trade measures, not retaliatory or extreme like what came after 2018.
So do you think on average a 40% tariff is a significant tariff on any sort of good?
Yeah, can you tell me when they did that?
Yes. So in 1992, the simple average tariff rate of Chinese tariffs on imported US goods was that of 39.2%. In 1992, by the way, that's like around 15 years before 2009, around.
Oh, before it joined the World Trade Organization.
Okay, sure, but what does that have to do with implementing a tariff on the U.S.?
So if they took it off, then that's not something we could use in the trade war.
But they were the first country that implemented tariffs. So even if they weren't a part or were a part of an organization, it doesn't matter. It just shows that if they don't have limitations being set, they want to implement tariffs. It's about the Chinese character.
It's about their character. So now we're back. We're staring down the barrel of another trade war, even though they were part of the WTO. After we made friends with them, now we're back. We're even not even friends with our former allies, the ones that we've discussed and made multiple trade deals with in the past. Even Trump made trade deals where he shook hands with Canada and Mexico, and he broke those trade deals with proposing tariffs. And even the fact that he hasn't even implemented them yet and has chose to stab them in the back has shown our allies and has shown people like China that we can't even trust Trump when it comes to a trade deal.
Sir, I have a question.
Yeah.
Why can't we live in a zero tariff society and a zero tariff globalist market nationwide?
I believe we should.
So then, if you believe that we should live in a zero tariff society, then why is it that when the U.S. tries to stand up for itself against countries who have tariffs imposed against the U.S., but the U.S. has no tariffs opposed against these countries and says, hey, look, we think that this is unfair, and we're going to implement a tariff that's going to provide an incentive to enter a zero trade deal that it's not logically warranted?
Which country did we not have tariffs on?
I mean, I'm talking about... You good?
Yeah.
So I'm talking about, and look, like I'll give you an example of something that I disagree with Trump doing. Donald Trump imposed a tariff on South Korea simply because of trade deficit. I disagree with that because trade deficit isn't necessarily a bad thing. So there's some things that I believe Trump does which are unjustified. But in the case scenario of countries that have huge tariffs against the U.S. and the U.S. doesn't have tariffs when they try to sell in our market, it's completely reasonable and justified to say, hey, look, I believe that we should be able to sell in your market just as we let you sell in ours.
I think you're just looking at things without context, and you're also looking at things in a way like ready to be like, oh, this is unfair, like kind of like a child. But if you look at like a nation whose main export is whiskey or dairy, and like, I don't know, 30% of your whole trade is this product, and your own country decides to start buying milk from the United States or from other countries, it could dilute the market of that dairy and those cows, or either it just make it unstable. So putting a tariff on your own citizens for dairy makes a lot of sense. You could be like, okay, I'm going to trade with this nation, and they can put a 30% margin market markup on a tariff on dairy. That doesn't mean that we're being hurt in the tune of 30%. That just means they're not going to buy our fucking dairy, dude. That's nothing. That's almost nothing.
So if they aren't going to buy ours and they're going to implement that tariff on our product, then why shouldn't we implement a tariff on theirs?
Because that's a dumb way of looking at it.
We should live in a zero tariff society.
I don't think we can exist in a society like that. I don't think we can exist in it where it's just completely free market. It completely because certain markets need stability and need protection.
So certain markets gain stability and protection by ripping other countries off?
You think it's ripping other countries off, but
Yes,
it just means
100%.
it's not. It just means that they're not going to buy our product as much as they're going to buy their own.
Okay, but they don't need to that is expressed through a trade deficit. That's not expressed through a tariff.
Okay, but they have to protect their market. So like the tariff is something their own citizens pay. It's not ripping us off.
The personal
I don't know where he went. I can't hear you when you're offline. That is not like to say that they're ripping us off. Like that's like saying your customer is ripping you off for not buying enough from you. That's fucking. It's a really Trumpy way to look at things. It's fucking gross. You're ripping me off because you're not buying all of my stuff. What? For us to have any sort of confidence in Trump whatsoever and his thinking after he tariffed penguins, after he imposed tariffs on countries we even had trade surplus with, it makes no sense. For us to look at the way he calculated these tariffs using trade deficit, it should instill the highest, utmost fear in you. It should instill so much fear that someone so dumb is able to affect our markets unilaterally. Like this one man who people are too scared to tell him that he looks fucking stupid painting his face orange. You think they're going to tap him on their shoulder and be like, hey, these tariffs, not a good idea. You think they're going to do that? He fires every single person that dissents against him. He will never take feedback. That's why he had a 95% turnover with his last administration. Nobody can tell him no. Trump is a buffoon. He's a fucking idiot. I need a penguin sticker. I sure do. Hey, Pickles, that 39% China tariff on U.S. goods was a total trade avenue tariff, then divided by number of goods. Penguins eating ice cream and dogs and cats. Yeah, I don't know where that guy went. But yeah, like you can't make those two things equal. That 30% on dairy, which could be 5% of their trade. Like, it could be nothing. For us to justify 20% blanket tariffs with something like a 30% tariff on dairy, which would make up 5% of their trade, doesn't, not even 5, it would be like 2 or 1%. Like, I don't even think people get this. They just see the 30%. They're like, oh, then 40% is what we need. We need 15% blanket tariffs on all things for that country. What? You guys fucking suck at math, dude. Where are we at? We're an hour and a half. Chat, if you're a Trump supporter and you want to debate, hop in the box. Yeah, I think it's also important to know in I believe it's 2000 or 1989, China entered the World Trade Organization. So they cut out the insane tariffs that Trump is now trying to leverage. Like, nobody wants to do the types of tariffs that Trump is doing because they're like an act of war. And for him to say they're reciprocal is gaslighting the entire world. Nobody feels like these are reciprocal. These are completely unwarranted. (2001) they entered. Do you know what China and Japan could do to our T-bills? Oh, our treasury bonds, yeah. Japan sold less than 5%, the bond market tanked. I saw that, and I heard that's why Trump pulled back these tariffs. Trump saw that the bonds market was about to implode. The things that back our dollar, it was about to implode when he did the tariffs. That's why he yanked them back. And China owns, I believe China owns like $750 billion worth of US bonds. Imagine if they cashed those in. Said, hey, give me $1 trillion right now. $890. How many? It's 760 billion in US securities. And Japan owns 1 trillion. Pickles, I want to make you stickers. Alina, message me. Make me some stickers, please. Imagine if they all sold. Yeah, we would be fucked. But China notoriously has these investments in the United States bill to bolster the United States currency higher than their own, so that their dollar is worth less, so that they can remain an exporting country. So it stabilizes their currency. China's substantial U.S. investment in U.S. Treasury serves its multiple purposes, managing its foreign exchange reserves, which totaled about 3.2 trillion as of March, and then stabilizing its currency, the yuan, by investing in dollar-denominated assets, maintaining competitive of exports, as holding U.S. debt can help manage exchange rates favorable to Chinese goods. I'm talking about. Savannah, thank you for the 5 gifted. Thank you so much. You're making stuff up. Go do research. I'm literally reading this right now. Hello?
Hey,
What's
how's
up,
it
dude?
going?
Going good.
You know something that's a little off topic from these tariffs, but something I haven't heard anybody actually talk about is, for the first time that I can remember, the Democrats and the Republicans both put up their presidential nominees without any sort of debating process. Has that ever happened before?
The debate thing, I don't know. I think it's not very typical.
Yeah, it seems kind of odd. I mean, it's like both sides said, "Here's your candidate." You
So
know?
usually if you're the incumbent, which Kamala was the incumbent, she was vice president. Usually they don't do primaries, they don't do debates. Like Trump did not do primaries, didn't do debates when he was in office going for re-election. He didn't do that. So Kamala didn't do it either, but he pointed at Kamala and said, she didn't even do this. When he's just pretty much diverting attention away from the fact that we were going to bring up he tried to steal the election.
It's interesting. Chat says back in like 1960.
I've got another debate. Do you mind if I debate them real quick before I get back to you? Oh, he's not coming back. Okay, never mind. He left.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So if let's say hypothetically that these other countries come to the table and they drop all their tariffs, and Trump turns around and he also drops all his tariffs, and we get to a point where there are zero tariffs, would you reconsider your position on whether this whole thing was a good idea or not?
No, because it's going to make other countries, it's going to make their economies be less powerful. Like, it is, I think, stupid to do this. Like, the economy is so fickle. And like I mentioned, like, if a country needs to tariff us to protect a whole market that they hold, that, like farms, for example, dairy farms is what Canada does. If they do that to secure their market, make sure that we don't flood their market with our dairy, I think that's totally fine. It's just dairy. Nobody's out there crying to become a dairy farmer. I think we'll be okay. Like, if they take away their dairy tariffs and we're able to completely crush their nation by like flooding it with our like disgustingly hormone-filled dairy, then I don't know. It just, like, it would be a lose-lose. Like, they would lose so much if they were to drop the tariffs. I think it's stupid. It's really not that big of a deal to us. And same thing with most of these other things. Maybe the only thing I could see is like I don't know, them dropping tariffs on auto. But then they, like, our auto industries, we're constantly fighting to keep them protected. And I can imagine it's the same thing for foreign countries. You can imagine it's the same thing, that the auto industry is so fickle that they need to protect their own auto industry, and we can free trade everything else. Like, I just think that we got this far and have made multiple trade agreements throughout the years to make things fair, that I think we were doing just fine before all these tariffs, all these wars. And I think what Trump's trying to do is trying to get nations to come kiss the ring. I don't think that, like, you can't also have it both ways. Like, Trump has lied to us. If this is about getting them to drop their tariffs, he lied to us and he said that this was going to make American jobs, which we now know is not true.
I don't think the automobile thing really makes tariffs makes much difference. Like, have you ever been to those other countries? I
Not
spent I spent a lot of time in Italy and Greece and Turkey, and like our cars don't function over there. Like they don't fit into the infrastructure that they have over there. They don't fit on the roads. They don't fit like in the fuel stations and stuff like that. People aren't going to buy our cars over there.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I like. I've heard that a million times. The F-150 that gets 13 miles a gallon is probably not a big hit in fucking Europe where gas is twice as expensive. I think it's fucking where it doesn't fit in any of the parking spaces. It makes no sense. Makes no fucking sense. So if they dropped all of their tariffs on our auto, what is that going to do for us? Why are we going through this huge, enormous headache? I don't think it's a big deal.
I think the media pushed this fear of being dependent on other countries. You know, like, oh, we don't make things ourselves. We're dependent on these other countries. We need to become undependent.
I think that is a dumb idea to not do fair trade with these other countries. I think that trading makes us friends, which is tipping the scale towards more world peace than trying to be isolationists to where we can hopefully pick a fight with them one day and not hurt our own economy. I just think it's so insane for us to think that we're going to be better off trudging uphill through mud forever rather than just buying Chinese goods that are so cheap and allowing our economy to accelerate at the same pace it has been.
Yeah. What's this penguin thing everybody's talking about?
Donald Trump put fucking tariffs on an island. I think it was McDonald Island. And there's literally not even a government there. It's just penguins.
Oh, wow. What kind of penguins?
I don't even know.
Maybe that has something to do with it. Who knows? That's crazy. No, that's insane. It's the first time I've heard about that. But I've heard you guys talking about the penguin emperor. That's the first time I've heard about the whole penguin thing. That is wild. I see people in the chat talking about my was it PFP because I'm a Steelers fan, guys.
Oh God! All right.
Oh shoot!
Hey, I've got another opposition in the box. Do you mind if I grab him?
I'll have that.
All right, man. Always enjoy hearing from him. He's a cool guy. Hello?
Brother, how are you?
What's up? Are you a Trump supporter?
I am, yes.
Okay, what do you like about Trump?
I like a lot of things. I like the fact that I think he truly cares about America. He's open-minded. He's willing to think out of the box. He's willing to do what's needed for the country that is maybe unpopular.
I don't think just because he's doing things that people don't like doesn't mean they're good.
I don't think so either, but I think what he is doing for the country, or is at least attempting to do for the country, happens to be unpopular, but is the right thing to do.
What thing?
Everything from the economic policy, securing the border, social policies, everything altogether. So his focus is mainly an economic focus, among other things, right? But uh, mainly his focus is reducing the debt, reducing our spending, and getting us out of this economic headwind that we've been going through for the past X number of decades.
All right, let me help you out. Elon Musk says that he's going to be able to cut upwards of 160 billion from our budget each year.
Correct.
But Trump just spent $4.5 trillion. How many years does Elon Musk need to catch up to $4.5 trillion?
Where did he spend that money?
On tax cuts for rich people.
Was it tax cuts for rich people or tax cuts in general?
Tax cuts 87%, which go to rich people.
And how are you measuring that?
From a study from Brookings.edu.
Okay, so you're going for a study, right? But what are the actual metrics that lead you to say that it's only for rich people?
There's 1,000 different things.
And can you name one?
Yeah, SALT deductions, doing corporate reduction of tax from 21 to 15%, or earlier it was 35 to 21%.
Okay, but his entire goal is to reduce taxes and offset that lost revenue to the government through tariffs and cutting expenses.
Yeah, so if you ask people, there's no certainty around what the end game is with tariffs. So the last guest just said, "Oh, what if we use these tariffs to negotiate, and we take their tariffs down, and we take our tariffs down in response, and then there's no tariffs? Well, then we're going to get zero revenue from these tariffs. But if we keep them up, we can see that we are heading for a recession per the Atlanta Fed, or just common sense being that tariffs slow the trade, or the rate of trade, slow the trade of commodities, increasing the absolute fuck out of inflation and hurting our market, crippling it."
Yes, that's correct. Do you agree or disagree with what Doge is doing?
Disagree entirely.
Why?
Because first of all, there's no way any smart person could look at what Doge is doing and look at their receipts and say, okay, this is forensic auditing. This is not 100% lies. It's complete bullshit, and only the most mundane person like my 80-year-old grandma believes that that stuff is real. There's another page that I bring up all the time. It's called doge.muskwatch.com, and it just simply shows how full of shit and bloated the savings calculator is on the website. So right here is this orange, or this gray graph. $140 billion is what Doge says they have cut. And if you actually add up the line items that are on the wall of savings, it only adds up to 90 billion. And if you actually go through and you click and you can see these items on usaspending.gov, you can actually see that some of these items, most of them, have saved us $0, because either they've already been paid or already been canceled, already been halfway paid, etc.
Okay,
It's all a bunch of lies.
Okay, so is Doge a net benefit for America or a net negative?
Net negative.
Net negative. So you think even if they can reduce $1 of waste, it's a net negative. Why?
Because they went through all of this BS by taking a butcher, like a cleaver, to our government, and we're gonna have to hire an army of lawyers to justify the things they're doing, such as USAID. USAID was cut so fast, so recklessly, so carelessly, and it removed our presence from the world stage to where it made us the good guys. It made developing countries look to the West. Instead of looking to China or to Russia as they're developing, they look at us and say, hey, the United States and the West, they're good guys. We believe in democracy. We believe in electing our leaders and having free thinking. And China and Russia, they don't. championed those things, and they're going to swoop in now that we've pulled out, and they're going to caress these people and finesse them into people that will be like them, and we're going to have to fight them militarily in a few decades. In 20 years, we're going to be spending trillions of dollars defending ourselves from these people if we don't do it the right way. That's why we do these things. So saving $9 billion a year, which is what USAID was spending, is not worth it, because we're going to be spending 20 trillion like we did in Afghanistan and Iraq to fight them here soon.
Okay, wait, but okay, so you're speculating as to the damage, but there's not a tangible damage. But if you disagree with Doge, then that means you agree that our government is operating completely efficiently.
I actually have never felt so sure that they have been, considering that they've only found $11 billion in things that aren't even waste, right? They're not even fraud. They're just things that Elon Musk doesn't like, right? Have you found like an actual case of fraud yet?
I mean, not specifically, but
wouldn't it be on every news headline ever? Wouldn't it be all over the world?
I don't know about mainstream news, but it's in some places. But with regards to Social Security, Elon Musk has said that there are individuals getting Social Security that are above the age of 100, 115.
And then we found out that was a lie too. Yes. We found out that was a lie. There's a coding called COBOL, COBOL. And when you perform inquiries into the system our government uses to store all this stuff for Social Security, this COBOL coding rendered results that gave you 150-year-old people, when anybody who knows anything about coding knew that that's exactly what happened. People who didn't even look at the data just randomly started saying, that's cabal coding. And then it turns out, yeah, Washington Post and everybody else did a huge hit on it, and they had to come back and delete that shit off of the wall.
Okay, I'll take a look at that. I doubt it, but I'll take your word for it, and I'll take a look at that. You can post a link here.
I'll just show you right now. So the idea that cabal defaults to year 1875, what's 150 years after 1875?
Today.
There you go.
Okay, I'll take a look at that. What else do you think that is the reason that you say Trump sucks? Other than the tariff.
I think Trump is an extremely problematic figure and has caused people socially to swing so far right. And he mostly uses things that Hitler used to get elected. Things like saying the news is fake, things like blaming migrants or a certain ethno-religious group on like heightened crime rates or for the economy doing unwell, when most of the things can probably be pointed back at him for most. Like Trump has probably most likely caused more than 29 incidences of schmurder or crime in the United States, domestic T groups to do things in the United States, when that's the amount of murders that happened last year from undocumented migrants. I could easily say that, I don't know, the guy that went through a Buffalo supermarket and mowed down a bunch of people with the N-word on his gun was a result of Trump's rhetoric.
Okay, so you believe that Joe Biden's open border policy was beneficial to America?
He's also brainwashed you guys to think he had an open border policy. Can you name what Joe Biden's open border policy was?
I mean, he just lets migrants in. He rescinded the remain in Mexico.
Remain in Mexico only affected 70,000 people, and it also created tent cities right outside of our wall that had 3,600 accounts of rape, schmurder, sex trafficking because the crime syndicates came and fucked with them. So it wasn't worth it. 3,600 accounts versus 70,000 people. That's Trump causing people to die.
So how is that Trump causing people to die?
Because he's creating a culture where people are getting raped and murdered in tent cities outside of our wall.
And how does he create that culture?
By using Remain in Mexico, by writing that down on a piece of paper, or by simply doing a zero tolerance policy thing that separated 1,300 children from their families who we cannot reconnect. He made a zero tolerance policy that literally just automatically separated it and jailed you separately from your parents. And if you're an infant and your parents were shipped off to their home country and you come and you talk to the infant, you ask it where it's from and what its birthday is and what its name is, it can't answer you, can he? Trump did that. 1,300.
Okay, got it. What else do you disagree with Trump about? Major issues.
I don't know, kidnapping
Give me your
people.
best shots.
Okay, so I would say kidnapping people and sending them to one of the worst prisons, one of the world's worst prisons in El Salvador without having any like prior crimes. That's pretty heinous. 75% of the people that he expelled from the country on military planes to El Salvador to CCOT, one of the world's worst prisons ever,
Yeah, I agree with
did
that.
not have criminal records. I think that's
Be more
disgusting.
due process.
I think that's fucking dumb. And I think Joe Biden, being that he deported 56,000 people a month as opposed to Trump's 30,000 people a month, shows that you can do that without making a mistake like this.
I agree with you. You have me on there. I do think they should be more careful and have due process.
I had Trump
Very
supporters
limited
telling me that I was an idiot for saying that undocumented migrants had constitutional rights in this country. I debated them for weeks about this because of that. And that's why I think Trump's like cultural effect on our society is disgusting. They also say, I also see that Trump, he's passed multiple executive orders that target law firms that have sued the Trump administration for the illegal things that they're doing. We're obviously at a point where we know now he's just doing illegal stuff in the open, such as the due process thing. He's doing these things in the open, and anybody that goes to sue him, he's writing an executive order and listing these law firms to be excluded from being able to access federal buildings, meaning all of their clients that need to go to court in a federal building can no longer use that firm, effectively bankrupting multiple law firms. And what do when they sue the Trump administration to retaliate against that? He copy and pastes the same executive order, including a new law firm. This is First Amendment rights, Sixth Amendment rights, completely being stomped on.
No, that I agree with. Yeah, that we're on the same page. I think he's going too hard and not doing any due process, and I think even one individual that's incorrectly, deported is too many.
Okay, and then he's threatening to withhold funds from school to stifle protests that are like pro-Palestinian protests. So he's threatening to withhold $400 million from the Columbia University if they don't do things such as require no masks and basically make pro-Palestinian protests illegal. I think that is a disgusting way to enforce your ideology. And he's also doing things to change what we see in the Smithsonian and in the African American Museum of History. All of these things to change the American history and the way, fascist playbook 101.
Okay, so I think you might be coming to conclusions here, but really what he's trying to do is, make it a little bit more balanced in schools. Right? So how would you feel if you're a Jewish individual attending Harvard and you can get into class without being attacked.
I don't know. What if you're an American student and America
And also,
is losing all of its
what if you're an
rights?
American student? What if you're an American student in trying to go to class, get what you paid tuition for, and there are Palestinian protesters, quote unquote, on the campus, burning things, doing graffiti,
Those
destroying
are
the entire campus.
those things are already illegal.
But are they being prosecuted?
Those things are already illegal.
Are these protests being shut down?
They should be shut down. Like, they shouldn't shut down entire protests, but the second you burn something or graffiti something, you're absolutely opening yourself up for legal liability. And that is a straw man. And for you to say the president needs to come in and change the way a local municipality handles their protests, I think is disgusting. I think it's gross. I think it's saying, hey, do not protest my actions. I do not want anyone to speak out against me. And the same sentiment goes to everybody he's sued for saying negative things about him, or even just suing pollsters. He's suing a pollster that was in Pennsylvania because of the results of a poll that she had. But Trump himself can go around saying the whole election was stolen for 4 years without evidence?
I mean, these guys said the election was stolen too, right? Hillary said that too. So
she conceded the election the day after.
she conceded, yes, but she said there was fraud in the election.
She conceded the day after, and if she ran for president and did rallies even during a pandemic for 4 years saying the election was stolen, it's a little different. It's a little different, and causing unrest, causing doubt in our democratic process. It's a little bit different. And it turns out that we did see Russia interfering in our elections and did favor Trump. And that he did have 35 indictments come out of the Mueller report because people in his administration working with Russia.
Okay, but didn't the FBI withhold and state that Hunter Biden's laptop was Russia misinformation?
For 48 hours, they said on Twitter that it has hallmarks of Russian disinformation. That's it.
Yeah, but when they knew it was authentic.
They didn't know. When they found out it was authentic, then they rescinded that.
They knew it was authentic, and that's what Kash Patel released.
Did we ever find out what Hunter Biden did wrong?
I don't know, maybe take bribes from Russia, maybe do insider business deals with Russia.
With Russia?
Ukraine, maybe say, oh, I'll give 10% to the big guy.
So the big guy is all they have on him, and they don't know who the big guy is?
Who do you think the big guy is?
Maybe his boss?
And who's his boss?
I don't know.
How did he get the job?
Because he's a lawyer and he worked for a company that did almost exactly the same thing as Burisma beforehand. Amtrak. That's who he worked for.
Okay, so again, you're coming up with these things, right? But this is all laid out in the Hunter Biden laptop story.
And there were how many indictments on this?
And didn't Hunter pardon his own son?
Joe Biden did pardon his son because Kash Patel has a laundry list of people that he wants to pursue politically. And
but if
here's
he didn't do anything wrong, then he shouldn't be scared, right?
No, because he would tie him up in court.
We have a land of law in the country.
You elected a felon.
No, the American people elected a felon.
Yeah. So you can't say that and then say we have law in this country. We are lawless now. But here's
lawless because you elected a felon.
Because you guys are like, whatever, that guy is everybody does that crime. That's what you guys say.
Okay, but that has nothing to do with the fact that there is a law in this country. So if Hunter Biden did nothing wrong, he will not be prosecuted.
No, he will be pursued, right? They could tie him up with with investigations and with court dates until he's
Oh,
like
so
poor.
similar to what they did with Trump.
Yeah, but Trump actually had crimes. So this is what they're doing backwards.
That's what you're
They're
saying?
they're finding people and then they're looking for a crime. When we looked at Trump and we said, "Here's Trump's crimes," and we got grand juries to agree that the things and the evidence they had against him were pursuable. And nobody had that for Hunter Biden and the big man. Like none of these things were actual crimes. Hunter Biden's laptop, just the line of like the people that had it, like so many hands, it traded so many different hands. We don't know what was on that laptop and that what wasn't. So the big guy, just the 3 words, the big guy, that's enough for you guys to see a crime, but for Trump to have actual people show up to 7 different swing states and try to swing the election with fake slates of electors, that's not enough for you guys to make an indictment. So I really need to figure out what you guys, like what your line, like your standard for evidence is. Really need to figure it out. The guy who says grab him by the pussy definitely didn't do sexual assault on E. Jean Carroll because he didn't get taken to criminal court. But the guy who says the big guy is definitely guilty of something. Hello?
Yeah, I mean 10% to the big guy.
The big guy was his older
Can you hear
brother,
me?
is what Devin Archer says. Joe Biden's brother. Hello?
Can you hear
A little bit.
me?
You're cutting out. I really want to see, I'm just dropping him because he's cutting out. I want to see this level of scrutiny when it comes to Donald Trump's children. Remember when he hired his children directly into the White House and those same kids got $2 billion from the Saudis? Are they curious at all about this? The $2 billion from the Saudis? When Jared Kushner was put in charge of overseeing the Middle East, and then he also gets $2 billion from the Saudis? Nothing to see there, though. Nothing. Yellow.
Hello.
What's up? Are you a Trump supporter?
No, I just want to say keep up the good work.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Bye.
Hello?
Hello? Hello?
Yeah, I can hear you. Are you there?
Hi.
Are you a Trump supporter?
Absolutely. Trump! That hurt your ears a little bit?
No. What do you like about Trump?
Trump! That hurt your ears a bit?
No, it's kind of capped out.
Damn it! Oh, all right. Everything about Trump is fucking awesome, dude.
Are you Canadian?
The fact that he did. No, I'm not at all. I was born in Canada, but I'm not Canadian. Well, I mean, I've got dual status, but I live in California, and I spent about 6 months in Hawaii a year.
Okay. Can you give me some specific why you... Where did he go? I don't know what to do, guys. Parker raid. What? Parker raid. Let's go, dude. Parker Raid rip. Yo, that's poo poo. They got banned? No, dude. Parker's back on. Shh. No, he's not. No, he's not. Shh. Parker Raid, follow me. Follow my account chat. Parker's gone forever. No. He's gone forever? Oh, no. He's gone for good? He had a flat earther guest? Love that.
Yo, what's up?
What's up, bro?
How's it going?
Going good. How's your marketing company?
Oh, dude, what's up? It's going well. I mean, I'm actually here with a couple of coworkers, but good. We planned for a big week. How are you doing, man?
Doing good. Just being fucking way awesome. Usually probably way cooler than you, honestly.
You know, I don't doubt it, Pickles. I mean, that's like, what a life.
It's true. It's true. You see that Lego set in the background?
That is pretty cool. I did notice that the other day.
Yeah, get fucked. Best Lego set ever.
Well, I'll take that. I'll eat that one. That's fine.
Lindsay, thank you for the gold mine.
Dude, did you hear, like, what the Chinese what's the best word to put this? The Chinese pushback of the tariffs. Isn't that crazy or what?
You mean like they didn't let down?
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, I think they at one point just said we're going to ignore any further tariffs after this because anything after this doesn't make any sense.
Kind of, yeah. That's what a couple of their spokespeople said.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see. Maybe Trump will cave completely. Maybe he'll just withdraw it and accept it as an L. And maybe this will be like a big moment within the right and the left. And it'll be like, wow, Trump just caved and he's beta. Like, who knows?
Could be. Or he'll tweet 40 times in one night about China sucking.
I'm probably leaning towards the reality of the situation. Probably the second one. It'll probably be something like that.
Yeah.
And then probably like 80% of all Republicans are going to be like, Trump was right and they caved or whatever. And then we'll just be back at stage one.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
Anyways, you have a good afternoon, my brother.
All right, you too. Yeah, once the stock and bond market drops more, yeah, we're so cooked. If anybody knows the dangers in which like the foreign countries involved, China and Japan, the level in which they're invested in our bonds, it's very scary. It's very scary. I think Trump's playing with real fire. It's almost like he's trying to give us whiplash. He's trying to cause uncertainty in the market. Like he dropped he made exceptions on the tariffs in regards to electronics yesterday or the day before. Yesterday. In between tea times, I'm sure. And then he also said that don't worry, we're still gonna have tariffs on those items. What is he doing to us? What are you doing, man? People have lost a lot of money in their 401ks. Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Dude, one of your gays kicked me. It's weird.
AD Kodak, thank you for the sub, dude. Hello?
Hello.
What's up? Is that you with the basketball?
Yep.
Is that present day?
What do you mean?
Is that you right now?
Yep. Yeah, I'm Jimmy Fallon with the basketball.
Oh, I can't tell who that is.
Oh, yeah, it's Jimmy Fallon.
Okay.
Anyways, I like Trump because the Democrats are they're killing babies.
That's it?
Yeah.
What if we said they're not babies, they're just multicellular tissue?
Yeah, I'm trolling, my bad.
God damn it. Matthew, thank you so much for the auto renew, dude. W Matthews in the chat for a nice hairline too, dude. Nice hairline. What's a woman? Someone who's awesome. Oh, is that my subscriber goal? Is that my subscriber goal? Did we hit that shit? Oh, we totally hit that shit. We totally hit that shit. Iridium, thank you for the 10 gifties. Bro, let's go. Let's go, dude. Yeah, there's so little confidence. Like, somebody came up here yesterday and said that investor confidence is at like an all-time high. What? Excuse, hello, Mr. Two Cent? Two-Int? Anyway. He was snoring. Consumer confidence at a record low. Hello?
Hello. I'm here. I'm here to conversate about how many physical structures have been destroyed in this war. You know what I mean? This war. What are we gonna do about all this iron and steel that we're sending out to Ukraine, and why is there a record high amount of destructive dead tanks in the Russian army? Why is there a record high? That's not something that's good to look at. That's a world war right there. That's something that's messed up.
Dog, I'm gonna drop you, but I want you to get in my DMs. I want you to give me your dealer's number, okay?
Is Tristan Gates 0804 2006.
Hit me in the DMs, bub. Doxing his blood. Where are the trumpets? I don't know. We might be getting off here soon. I'm gonna put it on that's what I was doing before I got distracted. I'm gonna put it on subscriber only. So we're gonna have some chill time with sub only. Meaning if you're fucking way awesome, you can chat. And if you're not that awesome, you can subscribe. I made my subscription goal. It's now titled Awesome People Only. So if you're not awesome, don't do it. If you're not awesome, do not subscribe. If you are awesome, you can subscribe. How was ice cream on Friday? It was so good. Hold on. Look at that. Sicilian pistachio French ice cream. You can see the cold coming off of it. A little bit. Oh, there you go. You saw a little bit there. How many carbs? Woo! 780 per container. Good for you. Probably. Green tea ice cream's good too. Yeah. Oh no. I'm worried that... Ooh, that's good. Damn, that's good. Fire Squad with the basic sub. Fire Squad, you're the shit, dude. Cade Natty with the sub too. I got 2 pints tonight. I got 2 pints. Grape Nuts Supreme. I haven't tried that. Oh, it's harder than a rock. Yeah, my dumbass, for some reason, I scheduled my my Amazon Fresh to be delivered at like 9 a.m. And I spent the night at my girlfriend's house. Did you know that Ben & Jerry's sometimes have secret compartments of toppings at the bottom of pints? I did not know that. What? Defrost microwave 2 to 5 seconds. Just me with the 6 months sub. Guys, I love you too. Why be secretive about it? Did you guys know that in Cards Against Humanity, if you get the big black box, there's like a secret card you can get. You have to like tear into the packaging, and it's a big wiener. It's a big wiener card. Yeah. Alicia with the sub too. Let's go. Bent Spoon Club. Do I have any neurodivergents in here who want to rate my spoon? This is my spoon. Rate it 1 through 10. We got a 4. That's a nope. Alicia with a 7. It's metal. It's metal. 0. Oh man. Honestly, this is the world's cheapest. Someone actually bought this on my Amazon wish list for my new apartment. So I will always love these. That's okay, guys. That's okay. You guys want to see? I actually was going to post this for y'all to rate last night or the night before. Wait. It's on this one. What do y'all think about this spoon? What do y'all think about that? And then what do you think about this mug? It has a mustache guard for when you take a sip, it doesn't get to your mustache. Negative 1,000. I'm unsubscribed. No to the spoon. Listen, guys, I didn't mean to put our relationship on the line like that. I'll keep my spoons to myself. The mug's 9.9. We need spoon night on cam guests. That would be amazing. I could literally have a live that says, show me your spoon. Hopefully, I mean, it could go terribly wrong. But hopefully we see some sick spoons. BYO spoons and tell why. Yeah, we show each other. Turn your camera on. I don't want to see your face. If I see you, it's a ban. I just want to see your spoon.
Hey, man.
Hello?
I got a spoon for you.
Uh-oh.
Let me get my... Now, this, there's a guy that I watch a lot. His name is Kane Kerner. If anybody's ever seen him, he's got long curly hair and he does fruit, right? He just brings out a plate of fruit and he sits there for like 3 hours and eats a big plate of fruit. Really cool guy, chill live to be in, to hang out in for a while. But he makes these.
Ah! Spoon fork?
They're metal. Yeah, they're metal and they're really thin. It's got kind of an edge on this side for cutting through stuff.
Oh, wow.
He actually makes these and sells them on his website. It's on like a fruit for thought.
Hold on.
But now that's a badass.
Does he also make snacks?
I don't know if he makes snacks or not. I know I go to his Shopify and he's only got 3. He's got a blue one with chopsticks, and he's got a gold one, and then a pink one with chopsticks.
Oh, there we go.
It's like $45, but they're all, they're all metal. Yeah, there you go.
I don't like that texture. I don't like that. I don't know about that texture, guys.
I don't know. The one he's got, the one that he uses is just, it's not colored at all. And it's just like a nice smooth metal. I don't know if that's just like a paint job or not.
Wow, guys. Oof.
We were talking spoons, and I thought I'd show you that one.
No, yeah, that definitely makes you think. Makes you think what kind of people walk among us.
Right.
Wow.
I'm gonna hop down, brother.
All right. Hello? Hello? James? I think he meant to come. Ah, no. Guys, I had a really weird night last night. A weird moment. We ordered Chinese. And I dropped a little canister of peanut sauce right on my leg. In the last place you want to drop any kind of sauce because of the way it looks. And then
I just want to show you. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to talk over you.
That's okay. And then
You're talking. Oh.
and then a dog licked it off. That's the end of the story.
Wow.
Yeah.
I just want to show you this travesty my husband has had for 15 years and will not get rid of.
What do you have?
I can't flip my camera for some reason.
Oh! No!
This. Oh, why does my camera keep flipping back? That's so frustrating. Anyway, I'll just hold it like this. Yeah, so that's my thumb next to it.
Get it out of here.
It's actually disgusting. And he eats everything with this. He ate soup with it last night. I made chicken soup. He ate chicken soup with that.
He ate soup with that? Is it even concave?
Yeah. it's almost a knife.
What?
Yeah. Just wanted to let you know because it ruins my day. So you're welcome.
Thanks for sharing your ruined day with the class. Thank you.
Yeah.
That's not nice. Thank you. Someone ban that person? I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Sonia X Loves, thank you so much for the subscription. Is that a dental tool, right? I'm pretty sure that stock market just made... I'm sorry. I'm pretty sure that spoon just made the stock market dip 3 points. Steph, thank you for the subscription as well, man. Chat, I might be ending the live here soon. Might be ending the live. No updates on Kilmer Garcia. One more update. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. 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 Yeah, I'm gonna finish this pint. I'm gonna finish this pint, and then I've got to climb. I got to climb early in the morning. How much ice cream do I eat? Usually a lot. Usually a lot. I don't know. This is a recent thing. There's a really good ice cream place down the street from my house. Like, I can walk to it. It's so good. It's like 3-minute walk. And it's created a monster. My favorite flavor, anything pistachio. I'm going to go meet with Brett Cross. I don't think I can. Like, I would have to catch a Greyhound bus like tonight and then go out there in the morning with him. I don't think I can make it. It's just not feasible. Not with that attitude. It's like a 4.5 hour bus ride. Am I going to Texas? I don't think I can. If you believe, Brett Cross and I are going to have a hang sesh soon. That's for sure. Let's see. Flights to Austin. $81. Okay, never mind. $300. Hold on. Okay, the bus is $82. American Airlines 531. No. I'm not doing that. $500. No. I'm in DFW. The power of Brett compels you. We can all sponsor your flight. Holy moly. TYB Diablo, thank you for the sub. Yeah, it's more like oof. And that's today's the 13th, so we'd do the 14th. Through the 15th? Oh, they're like $600, guys. It's so much. Yeah, I'm gonna go rock climbing in the morning. Yeah, it's always more expensive. Hitchhike, it's free. You meet new people. I like having both of my kidneys, so I might not do that. Novella, what's up, dude? Selfish. Jose, it's good to see you, dude. One of my original supporters from gaming. I saw Fire Squad. Thank you so much, man. I don't know if you heard me say it, but thank you. Love that. Thank you, Alina. I'm so excited. We love you back, Fire Squad. I've been flying this entire stream. Thanks for letting me watch my favorite show. Dang, that's awesome. Okay, Alina, I got you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, guys, I am for real. I'm going to get off. I am going to gather my stuff and pack my bags to go spend the night out. I got an early, probably 6:30-ish a.m. climbing day tomorrow, so I'm going to get on it. Are you kidding me? I freaking love you. Love your stream. Well, thank you. I'm sorry for those of you who just got here. I'm so smart. I'm so sorry. Guys, I love y'all. I'll see y'all soon. Have a good night. I will see y'all tomorrow for sure. Peace out, Girl Scouts.